Hello there, book lovers. Welcome back to another exciting episode of KSB's Book Review. You're seeing my face now and you know what time it is. It's book review time, so let's get right into today's review. The book I'll be reviewing with you today is Jacob of Canaan, written by Helen Wood. Helen Wood is an author who is a multifaceted author who has written books of various genres. She has written fiction, she has delved into fiction, non-fiction, animals, and so on. She has taught English, art, and history for many years in the public school system. She has also been a Baptist in the church. Jacob of Canaan is a biblical fiction that conveys effective imagery based on the story of Jacob. It starts with Jacob having to lose his favorite son and the consequences of his and the con- and those consequences of not have of his brothers, the guilt and having to sell off their favorite son to slavery. So this book is about Jacob and his family after Jacob having to lose his favorite son, adding the grief of his favorite son to the grief he already had of his wife Rachel, of his first wife Rachel, after slaving for her for many years and having to lose her to during birth to their last son, and then having to still lose his favorite son, then having to move out, having to give his daughter off to marriage. This book just shows Jacob's life, and this book shows a lot because if you read the Bible, there were some things that the Bible didn't really specify, but in this book we got some answers to some of those questions. Like, we're able to delve into how Jacob really felt, how he grieved, how his brothers hated him so much. And we also got to hear a little bit more about Joseph being sold off. He wasn't just sold off because he was a dreamer. He was also sold off because of the fact sibling rivalry and favoritism, because like I said earlier, Joseph was Jacob's favorite son. And that just fueled the anger of his siblings to wanting to have him sold or to wanting to have him killed. They actually wanted to have him killed, but the eldest brother had spoke some senses to them and said, "No, this isn't right. You shouldn't do this to our brother." And even though they thought about it and they felt, yes, this isn't right, they still felt the need to have to get rid of him. So they decided to sell him off because they felt it would be the safer option. But still, they thought it would make their father love them more, but it made their father more miserable. He grieved so much, he was depressed for many months, he didn't come out of his room, he emaciated so much to the point that even neighbors didn't recognize him. And this book just talks a lot about, conveys images into the mind's eye, and helps you to see how Jacob really felt from a different perspective. In today's segment, we're not going to today there's a moral lesson. I want to talk about something in this book that really happens in everyday families, and it is called sibling rivalry. Most times parents feel this without them even knowing, because they always tend to have a favorite child, and most siblings have already noticed that, and sometimes they feel unloved, they feel not enough. Maybe because your elder brother is doing well at school, he's doing well in math, getting A's back to backs, and you're struggling to get those A's. They feel, oh, that one knows maths, you don't know maths. And so, like, it kind of makes them feel left out, which kind of fuels this jealousy, anger, and hatred for their sibling. In being in a family, one of the key factors in building a family is love. So being in a family where there's no love, having to feel left out, having to feel unimportant, being suppressed by your siblings' achievements, kind of fills you with this kind of hatred and jealousy. Like, you just want to hurt this person every means you get. And like, that's one of the things that was one of the themes of this book, because Jacob always loved his son so much, gave him the coat of many colors. That was one of the things that really triggered their anger, aside from the fact that Joseph was a dreamer. That also played its own part. But this sibling rivalry thing, if I was supposed to give it a scale of 1 to 10 on how much they were angry about it, it would have been a 7, because it's like having to see their father talk so much about Joseph, having to see their father. Oh, they want Joseph wants. If he had the opportunity to will everything he had, he would have willed it to Joseph. That's how bad it was. And the others felt left out, and they just felt this need to just get rid of him. Maybe they felt it to make their father love him better, but it made them more miserable. So I'm just trying to use this as a point to communicate to parents. Yes, we might have favorite children. Yes, you might want to say, oh, I love this person more, but don't do it in such a way that you make the other people feel left out. You can balance it out. You can show love to one, and you can show love to the other, inspiring them even though they're not doing in what you think. You can inspire them, you can motivate them, you can also tell their siblings to help them get better. There were lots of vocabularies used in this book, and I'm going to give you two of them that stood out for me. The first one is clave. Clave means a symbol that is used to represent key information. And the second is patriarch. This is there are many definitions for patriarch, and there's one that says the head, the first of the family, and then the second one that says the main men in the Old Testament, like Abraham, Jacob, Isaac, those men that were that were prior topics, those men that were always talked about frequently in the Old Testament. That's the meaning of patriarch. My ratings book, oh wow, this book is an exciting read. It delves in so much into the story of Jacob, talks a lot about the behind the scenes, what really happened behind the selling of Joseph. Aside from him being a dreamer, this book is perfect. The length, everything just falls into place. And the way at the end, the way they found out that Joseph hadn't died, and like the way everything just happened, linking one thing into another. They sold their sibling. They were looking as if, oh, everything was going to get better, but eventually the way things started moving, they started feeling this guilt. Things felt as if they were beginning to fall apart. Even Jacob was looking confused, but he didn't know what was happening until he eventually found out what really happened. And I like the fact that Joseph was humble enough, and he was still able to forgive his brothers, and he was still able to accept them even during the famine. He could have easily, and he was the prime minister of Egypt, and he could have easily said, oh, those people, don't give them food, they are my siblings, they sold me off. But he was still able to forgive them. He still gave them food. He still took care of their father very well. And like, I just love that fact. This book, I'm recommending this book. This book is an exciting read. You're going to enjoy it so much. Most times I'm going to enjoy this book so much. I promise you, you will. If you are in the library, please do well. Look out for this book, Jacob of Canaan. It talks a lot about the behind the scenes of Joseph's slave being sold to slavery. And this book, it also talks about the law. It also mentioned a lot of things that we didn't know from Jacob's perspective. How Jacob felt, his depression, his grief, his mourning, how his brothers eventually started feeling guilty, aside from him being in prison and all that. And this book, I recommend it to you. If you're in the library, you're going book shopping, please do well to look out for this book. And it's an exciting read. Do not forget about the reading challenge. We are approaching the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. I'm doing this Christmas. I'm just feeling so happy, so excited, because this year it was kind of a slow start. A lot of things happened this year, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to Christmas, the celebrations, having to throw some fireworks, Christmas Eve, that kind of thing, the lights, the decorations, the excitement that comes with it, and everything. This year is coming to an end, but it doesn't allow us to lose focus on the reading challenge. Don't forget, you also have to have the number of books you've read at the end of the year at the back of your mind, so that you can be able to come and remember, oh, I read some amount of books. Like, I'm going to give the number of books I read at the end of the year towards the end of the year or beginning of the new year, and we're probably going to start a fresh slate next year 2025 and a few years to come. So don't forget about the reading challenge. Thanks. If you are new, subscribe. We talk about a lot of interesting books. This book, Jacob of Canaan, was very exciting, and I enjoyed. I had a lot of fun reviewing it with you, and I hope you are looking forward to my next review. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in this. You can leave a comment in the comment section if you feel there's a book you think, oh, this book KSB, you enjoyed this book, and you can just leave a comment. And if you feel maybe there's something you want me to do, something you want me to talk about, you can also drop it in the comment section. And also don't forget, never forget, always remember that readers are leaders who are way ahead of others. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Merry Christmas.